Hello guys, thanks for watching. Today I'm in Moi Avenue. This is Moi Avenue, Mombasa, and I'm heading to Mombasa Tusks, which is commonly known as Pembe ya Ndovu or Mapembeni, Pembe ya Ndovu. Yeah, it's along Moi Avenue in Mombasa, and I'm gonna show you a mystery which so many people don't know about these Mombasa Tusks, and it's very important for us to understand this mystery. And these tasks are very, very important. They have a meaning in the realm of the spirit. These are not just decorations. These are altars. And this is one of the greatest altars which control the East and Central Africa, these Mombasa Tusks. It's very important for you to know how they operate. Now, you cannot rise in this region without dealing with these Mombasa Tusks. You cannot rise, be it in business, be it in politics, be it in ministry, or in any other way. You cannot rise in this city of Mombasa or in this region of the coast area without conquering the powers of these altars behind the Mombasa Tusks. So today I'm going to show you how these things work. Hello guys, thanks for watching. I'm Cleophas Wanyama, Cleo with him. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're watching me for the first time. And this is Christian Media. We talk about the things of God. And if you want to donate to this ministry and support what I'm doing, use the information on the screen or at the comment section pinned below or at the description box. So guys, I love you. Keep watching. I'm conscious of your love. It's my security. Prosperity, my security, prosperity, Whoa, whoa. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restored my soul every day. Even though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I shall never fear no evil. For thou art with me. Cities have gates. Just like in the ancient days, cities have gates. The gates of a city may not be physical, but they are gates in cities. Now, these elephant tusks, you see them. These are the gates of East and Central Africa. Why? Because through the port of Mombasa, goods going from East and Central Africa passed through the ports of Mombasa. In the ancient days, the Arabs, the Portuguese, the Europeans, the British, they came to Africa. This is the route they used. They came with their ships and docked in the coast of Mombasa, in the coast of Kenya, in the coast of East Africa, and they entered and possessed the land. Now, this is an ancient secret which you need to know. Mombasa Tusks, they are just not for decoration. These are ancient altars which needs to be dealt with. These are ancient altars which needs to be subdued. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. This has nothing to do with demolitions. These has nothing to do with doing anything physically to the elephant tusk, Mapembe ya Ndovu. This has everything to do with prayer. The only way to subdue it is through prayer. You can subdue any evil spirits behind the elephant tusks by prayer. In the Old Testament, and particularly in the Ten Commandments, God told the Israelites, or God told us, never to have any graven images or idols. There's a reason why God does not want statues, or God does not want graven images. Why? Because behind statues, behind monuments, there are spirits behind them. So statues are altars. Statues can be altars. Monuments can be altars, because behind them, there are spirits which come behind them. This is why you find God was angry when the Israelites were worshipping the golden calf. It was just a calf, but behind that image, there is a spirit. So most of these cities, we don't know that they are altars which control cities. Cities are controlled by altars which are raised. These Mombasa Tusks were put up in the 1950s by the late Queen of England. And the reason why they were put up, I don't understand. But what I know is that 4 horns are not good. Now, this does not mean that we hate. This is not a hate video concerning the Mombasa Tusks. It has nothing to do with the physical appearance with Mombasa Tusks. This has everything to do with the spirit behind the Tusks. So this does not mean that we destroy the Tusks. This does not mean that the Tusks should be removed. No. This means that as believers, as Christians, we should deal with the spirit behind these tasks. That's the most important thing. We deal with the spirit behind these tasks. In the book of Zechariah, it tells us about the 4 horns which scatter. There are 4 horns which scatter Judah. Now, we can see these elephant tusks, there are 4. There are 4. It is not by coincidence. No, these are things in the realm of the spirit which show something. Now, the same way, the 4 horns which scattered Judah, these 4 horns also, they have a spiritual implication in the East and Central Africa. These 4 horns, they work against ministries. They work against Christian businesses. Anyone who rises in ministry, anyone who rises in business, anyone who rises in any field, especially if you're a born-again believer, you have this altar to contend with. The Mombasa Tusks, they are not only decoration, they are not only national monuments, they are altars. These are our altars, one of the greatest altars found in this land of Kenya, one of the greatest altars found in the East and Central Africa. Do you know why? Do you know what? In most cases, altars are usually placed at the gates. Why? Because gates are a place of dominion. Gates are a symbol of dominion. Jesus told the church, I'll give you the keys of the kingdom. The gates of hell shall not prevail. Whatever shall bind on earth shall bound in heaven. Whatever shall loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. And the gates of hell shall not prevail. The gates of hell is the authority of hell. The authority of any territory is in its gates. That's why we have the gates of heaven, the gates of hell. We also have the gates of our lives. So gates are symbols of authority. Gates symbolizes dominion. So when you see these elephant tusks, these are not mere decorations. These are altars. These are gates. These are spiritual access into the East and Central Africa. Now, the Zechariah is telling us these are 4 horns which scatter. If the 4 horns were able to scatter Judah, these 4 horns are able to scatter anything. And when I'm talking about scattering, I don't mean physical scatter. I'm talking about spiritual scattering. Now, this is why God did not want people to have idols. Why? Because behind many idols, behind many statues, behind many national monuments, behind such some buildings, they are always spirit, because they are built in a way which represents an altar. Do you know why? God gave Moses exact measurements on how to build the temple. God gave Moses measurements inch by inch on how he's going to build the temple. Why? Because that temple was a replica of the temple in heaven. So Moses was creating after the order of heaven. So when Moses created that temple, that tabernacle, I can call it a temple because it served the same purpose. When Moses created that tabernacle, the Holy of Holies and all those stuff, it was a replica of what was in heaven. So whatever happened in heaven happened also on the earth, because a pattern had been created. So when patterns are created, events are created. Also, spirits are created after the order of that pattern. When patterns are created, spirits are attracted after the order of the created pattern. So Moses created the tabernacle after the order of heaven. So that's why you had the presence of heaven in the midst of the Israelites. The same way, when you see those tasks who are created after the order of the 4 horns which scattered Judah, But I have great news for you. These 4 horns are to be subdued. Now, as I've said, and I'll say it again, any Christian, any believer, any Christian, any born-again Christian must contend with this altar. Most of you have contended with them. Most of your pastors have dealt with them and have defeated them without knowing it is that altar. Do you know what? The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. Principalities and powers. Principalities are demonic entities in charge of a territory. Now, for principalities to work effectively, they need to have altars. Now, that altars create a system of dominion where they can create an atmosphere in a certain region. Now, that atmosphere will control the patterns, the thinking patterns, and the behaviors of the people living in that area. Now, this is why altars are very important. So, even forces of darkness, principalities, they have to work with altars, and this is one of the altars found at the gates. This is one of the altars found at the gates. This altar is found in Mombasa. It is not a coincidence that the national anthem of Kenya came from the coast region. It was a Pokomo lullaby. The first president of Kenya died in the coast region, the region where this altar is. Most talented musicians, most talented people who are good in radio, in media, most of them, if you check, who are in Nairobi, they came from this region. There are so many things. The port of Mombasa is one of the parastatals which supports the economy of the nation of Kenya. It's all found where this altar is. So this is not something to joke with. Apostle Nganga began his ministry in Mombasa. He rose from Mombasa before he went in Nairobi. He had to contend with this altar, rose and then went to Nairobi. Pastor Lai began his ministry in Mombasa, rose, he had to contend. I heard the story of Pastor Lai. He used to stay at the gorilla base, praying and fasting, contending with the principalities in this region until the heavens were open. Pastor Lai has built one of the biggest churches in Kenya right now, JCC Bamburi. Now we have also ministers like Pastor Zechariah, which have just come up. They are doing exploits. All these men come from this region of the coast of Mombasa. We need to contend with this altar now. How do you deal with this altar now? Dealing with this altar has nothing to do with demolitions, has nothing to do with, anything physical. It has everything to do with spiritual. When Joshua wanted to take over Jericho, they went around the city praying and praising until the walls came down. Now it's time for churches to have intercessors, prayer warriors, to be praying as they move around the city. They can have a church bus or a church van carrying church intercessors going around the city praying, not necessarily making noise. You don't have to make noise. You don't have to disturb the peace of others. Praying and interceding, bringing down these walls, these altars. Listen, you can demolish an altar physically, but you may not have dealt with it spiritually. So the best way to deal with any altar is spiritually. So even if that statue or monument is there, it's just for decoration, but the spirit behind it is already cast out. These are the 4 horns which scatter Judah. We need to deal with these 4 horns. It's a very deep mystery in the realm of the spirit. You need to understand it. You have to deal with these 4 horns. 4 horns which scatter Judah. These are the 4 horns which scatter many people. Most of you have dealt with it in the spirit. When you are praying in the spirit of God deals with issues, but doesn't tell you which issues you are dealing with. And I believe I can tell you right now, one of these issues are these spirits which are behind these tasks. Because these are the 4 horns which scatter. I love the 4 horns. They're beautiful. They're a symbol for Mombasa. I'm not saying that they should be brought down. I'm not saying that they should be demolished. No. What I'm saying that we need to pray for so that whatever spirit which is behind those four horns, those spirits to be cast out in the name of Jesus Christ. Hello guys, I hope you're blessed. I love you. See you in the next video.